Okay, my young protege. I saw something on my desk here that you've been working on all day. Apparently, let me take a sip of this thing. Oh, that's damn good coffee, bro.
Does it make you want to river dance?
Oh, I may want to.
Hey! Don't forget, surprise coming in 3, 2, 1. This is my own private podcast. I will not be disturbed.
Are you out of your mind? What is this doing out in the open?
I feel like this is an episode of Dexter, because surprise, motherfuckers, it's Todd! He's here! What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Almost Sideshow. That was like the first F-bomb of the whole show so far. But anyway, I think it was well worth it. Anyway, it's Terry. Todd is here as well. Welcome, boys. What's going on? I'm stoked. This is hell yeah.
Those redheads.
Oh yeah, we're here. We're ready to go. Yeah, Todd and I were talking, and Todd's like, "Okay, I got to join for an episode." It's like, yeah, episode 6, season 3. I'm there. We got to do this.
Yeah, it's a banger. I will say though, like, I was not expecting in the last few episodes Terry to be like just throwing shade at pot roast. Like, man, I freaking love pot roast. Like, when I watched that episode, I really wanted to make pot roast. I made pot roast like 3 days ago. Like, I mean, but Terry's just like talking shit about pot roast. Like, what? Why are you making pot roast? That's not impressing anybody. Yeah, it is. Pot roast is awesome.
Pot roast is all right. Pot roast is fine. It's great. It's not something that you're gonna make for the fancy dinner that you invite people over to.
I disagree, Gary.
Well, you know, Sissy Spacek made pot roast when he had her son and his new girlfriend from Blast from the Past over. And yeah, the Brendan Fraser comedy with Christopher Walken too. It's a great movie.
It's true.
I'm making pot roast. Anyway,
we got a deep dive Blast from the Past. That'd be good.
Oh, yeah, that's a great one. Anyway, we're not here to talk about Blast from the Past. It kind of is a Blast from the Past. It's a retrospective of Breaking Bad. So we are here talking about Breaking Bad season 3.
You were surprised.
Oh, right when I saw you pop on, right when the intro came on, I was like, yes.
We had that time perfectly. I had him on the phone and he was listening to my half the conversation. I told him, once you hear 3, 2, 1 pop on, and I'll put you in, and we come out of the intro, he's going to be there, and it's going to be awesome.
I shall refer to Terry as my captain for the rest of the episode. Anyway, let's just jump into this, boys. Season 3, episode 6 of Breaking Bad, titled Sunset. Really excited to dive into this episode because that ending is quite possibly, so far, the best ending we've had. That was quite shifty. That was pretty damn awesome. A lot of moving parts we got to discuss. So
yeah, this is one of the best episodes of the show. So let's get into it. Season 3, episode 6. It is entitled Sunset. And here is our synopsis. The cousins are back. Poor old lady. Damn. And poor country cop. They are constantly hounding Gus at Los Pollos Hermanos, signifying they want their chance to take out Heisenberg. Walt bought a new apartment, seemingly content with the fact that he is divorced and his family is broken. However, he will still provide for his family. He is off to work for Gus at his secret lab. And we meet his new lab assistant, Gale. He's a little more qualified and skilled than Jesse, and he and Walt instantly hit it off. Jesse, on the other hand, is ready to fire his operation back up in the RV with Badger and Skinny Pete. But not to get too greedy this time. Even though simply starting the operation might be getting greedy, but I digress. We find out after their little meeting that Hank's obsession with stopping Heisenberg has led him to stake out Jesse, waiting to see the RV. By some stroke of luck, Walt finds out Hank is after the RV, so he immediately goes to Clovis's yard to get rid of it. He drives it to a scrapyard to be demolished, but Badger tells Jesse, and Jesse meets Walt there, with Hank immediately behind. They're trapped. Walt has only one play. He has Saul give Hank a phony call saying Marie was in the hospital after a car accident. Hank immediately leaves, only to find out he'd been duped. The RV is destroyed, and the pair is spared. Hank not only loses the RV, but Gus has now pointed the crosshairs of the Salamanca cousins at Hank as a person that actually killed Tuco, kill the DEA agent, and spare the meth cook. All right, Adam, this is your first time watching this episode.
Oh man, yeah, this was a good episode, guys. So it starts off, it starts off pretty kind of standard. We're gonna it kind of plays like a sitcom in a little bit when Walt's cooking with his new lab assistant. It has a cheesy like music to it too. It's like, we're the best friends, cooking meth in our lab together, making coffee at 2 and playing chess. Yeah, it's definitely like it plays across like super cheesy. Yeah. Yes, I'm a nerd. Thank you, Gail. I appreciate it. Welcome to the show, my friend. Yeah. But yeah, it was it's a great little like episode building up, and then all of a sudden you see that reveal where Hank's outside Jesse's house. Badger's doing the river dance. It's great to see Badger. He's always full of dumb things to say of the episode. Love it. And then you got, Skinny Pete there as well. And they're just waiting for Jesse to break the law here. And I like how the little games are playing, and because Hank calls Walt and trying to figure out how we need to get rid of this RV. And everything goes to a head because Jesse shows up because of Badger's phone call, and it's nail biting, like what's going to happen. And who knew that guy with the donut on the phone in Home Alone saves the day. He saved the day.
Oh, where is it? It's here somewhere. Hold on, I'll get there. There.
He saved the day.
Okay, there we go.
And who would have known? Lieutenant Balzac, I think that's his name in Home Alone.
You're right.
Every time I saw that guy, this guy Zach, it's like, Old Man Joe. I love Old Man Joe. I think that's his name, right? And this, anyway. Thank you, Zach.
I always think Mr. Heckles from Friends.
Mr. Heckles, for sure.
Yeah, Mr. Friends, yeah. But it's great to see him, and he knew his stuff for sure. Put Hank on the defensive there, and then the phone call from Saul. Oh man, I totally forgot about his little receptionist lady. So when they reveal that it's her, I was like, oh my gosh, what a plan! What a plan! What a pull! Oh, and then you have like his PTSD stuff playing off in the hospital. Oh man, it plays so well. And then the big ending at sunset with the cousins and Gus. Fudge. What's going to happen to Hank? But I didn't say fudge. Anyway, great. Great episode, man. Like that last 15, 20 minutes. Oh, it goes places where I was not expecting it to quite go. I loved it. For sure.
I also noticed the RV was getting destroyed at sunset too. So like everything all wrapped
happens
up
at sunset.
Todd, what makes this a great episode?
Well, it's the introduction to a couple of just great characters in Old Joe and Gail, and there's just things that happen that are so intense but quiet. They're done in a way that only Breaking Bad really can do, and I feel like there's a bunch of great quotes in this episode, and you get every character doing their thing. You get Badger and Skinny. You get Hank running like the emotional route, and you get Saul doing Saul things. He has like a calf massager. And
who has a calf massager
while he's on the phone? That is the most Saul thing in the world. Everything is just operating on at the highest level in this episode.
Yeah. I think okay. We're gonna get the best scene first, so let's just get there now, because the RV and at the scrapyard and everything that goes on in that moment, it's one of the most intense, insane scenes you're gonna see in anything, because there's no way out. I remember watching this the first time. There's no way out. How are you gonna get out of this? And it's inevitable. It's inevitable. And then there's only one play, and I mean, it is a dick move that Walt pulls, but it is all he had. It was the only move he had. He
it's
had
brilliant
to go
because and he doesn't know that he was there. That's the brilliance of it too. Like,
No.
if it was just Jesse there, he's SOL. Like it's like you're done, and we were waiting for that warrant. He's not going to leave that spot. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, and there's that in that scene. There's that awesome shot of the bullet holes being revealed, and then Walt seeing the bullet holes on his chest. I mean, it's just a great shot. And like
is that a foreshadow of something? Like that can't be a foreshadow, right? That just seems too weird.
It's a great shot.
It's a great shot.
It is. It's just yeah. It's a.
I mean,
I didn't even realize that's what I thought. He steps back because he's like, oh, I might be seeing now. But the fact that you look at it and saying it looks like it's bullet holes in him, and he's done. That's a cool thought. That's a cool thought.
Yeah, but it is an absolutely breathless scene. That whole thing, like from the moment you're like he sees Hank pulling up, you're just like, oh man, like what? Like yeah, how is he ever going to get out of this? Because like you said, his prints are all over it. So even if he was able to escape the RV and not get seen, like he's still screwed.
They just have like a CSI, like a crime scene squad, go in there and dust for prints and do what they do. Hey, screwed. It's like, how did Walt? This is not where he was making weed. This is not where it was. Something doesn't. 2 and 2 does not equal 5 here. Something doesn't add up.
It just beautiful, just awesome. Well, and then that whole sequence, because then you go back and you have that moment. It's almost like a moment out of The Departed when Walt calls Jesse, and as soon as he calls him, he goes, "Oh crap, I can't talk. This might be bugged," and it's just silence, and then he closes it immediately. And then, is this a secure line? What are you saying? Is this a secure line? Of course, this is a secure line. It just, yeah, that whole interaction, that whole thing is just awesome. Did you guys have anything different for the best scene? That was mine.
The showdown of the RV. There's several things that play into it too, like the Saw and then the hospital stuff, and seeing the angry Hank. It's probably the scariest thing you've seen, other than like, I have been awake for hours eating hamburgers all day, Hank. That's probably the second scariest thing you've seen in this episode. But
pretty scary, Hank.
Yeah, it was pretty vile. But anyway, but yeah, it's everything plays really well. I think everything builds to this finale. I think the only other runner-up really is that the sunset scene with, the cousins and Gus here. I think that the dialogue there alone is awesome, and now it's leading to Hank instead of apparently the DEA is not off limits anymore, which is cool.
Well, and I mean, I love the scene with Gale and Walt talking about how the lab is still magic, and he's quoting the Whitman poem and stuff like that. That's just a really cool scene, and Gale is a great character, and those kind of things, like Walt actually has his equal in some capacity. Okay. Like that's one thing that isn't really replicated, like at least at this point in the show.
That's a good point. But at the same time, isn't it like kind of weird that Walt did he know that he was going to have a lab partner, like an assistant or something like that when he showed up? Or was he under the impression that he was going to do this by himself? Because it seems very fishy that this guy is just randomly there without any really mention leading up to it. Is it just like Gus's?
I don't think he knew there was anybody else that was going to be there.
Yeah, because he's sort of startled when someone is there and says like hello from below his feet or whatever.
Someone was more punctual than Walt.
Yeah.
I think that's partially what threw him off too. Is like, whoa, I'm not the first one here. Maybe it was more that.
Walt with his paper bag lunch, like with the crust cut off.
With the crust, like every sandwich he's made since the crust has been cut off.
Maybe he did know that. Maybe he did know that he was going to have a partner. It was just something left unsaid, because why would you label your lunch if you're the only one in your lab?
The habit? I don't know. I feel like
maybe.
All right, the crust getting cut off. Like, is this? I've been curious about this. Is this something that you think Walt has always done for himself, or is it something that he picked up after the whole Crazy 8 thing? and he's just decided to always do it from then on, to like remember where he came from and where it all started, or did he always cut the crust off, and then and in that moment with Crazy 8, he's like, oh man, we eat sandwiches with the crust off. It's a similar thing.
I think we're kind of overlooking the biggest obstacle here. I think he's a fan of Tarantino, and Bill is like one of his favorite Tarantino characters. Just cuts the crust off of everything. I think that's the tie-in.
Yeah. Or maybe Walter Jr. likes it with the crust cut off too, or something. I don't know. I mean, I feel like Walt's never made himself lunch before. Like, I mean, it's probably Skylar.
That is a valid point. It's a valid point.
That's true. Yeah.
Let's get into the Ken Wins Douchebag Award. Goes to who, Todd?
Oh, I mean, there's a few. I would say Marco Salamanca in this one, because he's the one who comes out. He's wearing his wife beater. He was holding an apple when the cops, like, you know, have your hands up or whatever, and then he turns around and eats the apple while the guy is getting brutally murdered right behind him. That's probably as douche of a thing as as you can see on this show.
But it's a cool shot, though. It's a cool shot.
Yeah, he doesn't watch the explosion, but he's sitting there eating an apple.
Yeah, that is true.
A little distasteful.
That's a good one. Adam, what do you got?
Well, I'll go with the other cousin here. I think them both sitting at the restaurant, completely packed. Mother and her son come up and say, hey, are you guys leaving? Just twiddling your thumbs and sitting there and just not answering, just sitting there loitering essentially, but it's okay. Gus says it's okay. But yeah, just loitering for hours and not sitting. That's pretty a douchebag thing. So the mom and son have to go somewhere else, but it's pretty, yeah. The mom's like thinking to herself, what dicks.
It's a good call. Yeah, I went. I mean, going back to the conversation we just had, Walt. I mean, the fact that he went where he went and did what he did, and also his conversations at the beginning of buying the apartment, and then his conversation with Skylar, and just the matter of fact, Skylar, how do you think we've been paying for our bills the last 6 months? It's like, you're already an accessory. Why stop now?
Yeah.
All right, Adam, you're first on this one. The Pink Man Stick Man Award goes to.
Well, the biggest stiff of the episode's that old lady who got killed at the beginning of it, right? She's the biggest stick. She's a stiff.
Wow. That's where you went.
Well, there was only two options here that I could have twisted it, but yeah. Anyway.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going with Deputy Key, the police officer out there that finds the Salamancas, played by Jose Avila. Because have you seen his profile pic on IMDb? I mean, just look it up. That is a stick man right there. If that is your profile pic,
was he a bodybuilder?
I mean, he's like a bodybuilder in a Speedo. I mean,
what's his name?
Jose Avila, Deputy Key. I mean, that's got to be the guy in the. I couldn't even figure it out, but it's got to be the cop that goes.
Oh, it is.
Guys. Yeah.
Whoa.
Right? Like.
Yeah. That's a hard one. Yep. That's a good one.
I mean, I look at that and I'm like, gosh, I totally underestimated Stephanie. So that's my stick man. Todd.
I don't know how you guys do this category. There's so little sex in this show, but
I got another one just lined up for you.
I was going with Walt Whitman just because he's a poet, and he probably got it in. I don't know.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, we get very creative. I mean, you did love the episode where I went on for a minute about how a cell phone antenna was the biggest stick man in the episode. Yeah. So
I argued that it was the biggest stick man of the season, too.
I did. I argued that it was the biggest stick man of the season.
Yeah. Well, the other option here is, who's the cousin that killed the cop with the axe? That's a stick. He's grabbing a stick. That he is clearly I don't know. It's an axe.
Lionel.
He's an axe man. Yeah.
And they're both. I think they're actually brothers because they're both Moncadas. So. All right. The best new face, hey, that's Danny Trejo award goes to, I mean, there's a couple guys you can go with. We've already talked about them. Let's see if I'm going to try and come up with someone different. Nope. I'm going to talk about old Joe, because he's the one that you actually look at and say, hey, that guy, that guy's in the show now.
Oscar nominee Larry Hankin.
Really? Holy cow.
What?
He's nominated for a live action short in the 80s, I think.
That's a stick man right there. Old man
that
Joe.
That is amazing.
Oh yeah.
He walks out like he looks like he's in his costume from Friends as Mr. Heckles. Who died of old age like 25 years ago on that show and was still around. And I think is still around.
Yeah.
That's
funny.
So old Joe. Todd.
Well, I guess I'll say Frank Bond as the realtor, because
yeah.
That scene's pretty funny. It's like a scene from Arrested Development or something, because he's like he's trying to get him to get some other unit, but he's like, this is the model. You know, it's like it's exactly Arrested Development, and that guy was just like trying so hard to just be like, you got to get out of this room. But
it's like second time Arrested Development been mentioned on this podcast on the sideshow the last 3 episodes. So
he was my LVP.
Well, he gave in. He made the sale, Terry. Like he made commission on that. You got to know.
Did he though? Because he sold the model unit as is.
Cash was exchanged, probably.
Name one thing in this world that isn't up for negotiation.
That was going to be my like opening like skit at the beginning, but then the coffee joke was just too.
Todd. There. He was joking about having a great cup of coffee. All Todd heard was I asked if you did Riverdance, and because he could just hear my part of the conversation.
True. It's like, this is opening weird. Okay, well, it's weird.
All right, Adam, do you have a best new face? Do you want to talk about Gale?
Oh no. Well, Gale. Okay. I kind of said I think that's he's suspicious, man. I don't know. He's friendly. He's knowledgeable. He's
maybe
right
friendly.
there. A little too friendly. I think it's fun. I believe Vince Gilligan shows and reveals things for a reason, and there was a reason why it wasn't mentioned that he had a partner, and maybe that Walt was kind of startled by it. I think that guy's somehow working for Gus, obviously they're both working for Gus, but I think there's a reason why he's there. I don't know exactly what it is yet, but he's working side by side for Walt, so I think he's taking notes on some stuff. But I don't know, it seems suspicious, but it's also kind of very funny because it comes across in a sitcom. Like I felt very sitcom-y with him there, with some of the humor compared to the rest of the show. But it's going to be interesting to see how that guy interacts. I think Walt was just surprised he wasn't covered with Funyuns. I think that's probably the key.
Yeah, you get the sense from Walt's like, wait, this is what a partner could have been this whole time?
Holy cow, you're professional? You're on time? Like, wow.
You're not throwing the keys on the workstation?
You make damn good coffee? Like
coffee, and he brings wine.
And he brought wine?
I forgot the wine. Yeah, that's good.
Both the poet? I mean...
The scene reminded me of the Santa Claus, like with the hot chocolate or whatever. It's like, oh, wow, this is the best I've ever had. Yeah. And it's just like, yeah.
Thanks, Judy.
Yeah.
All right, the Gomi minor character, Todd. No Gomi this episode.
Oh, boo.
I mean, there are some great minor characters in this episode. I got to go with Francesca, who's Saul's assistant. She even is like, you need to start paying me more. She's so quick on her feet. She always has a really difficult job working for Saul, and her scene is her voice sounding so sincere and so serious at the same time. I think she's my favorite minor character.
It's a good one.
She was perfect. Does she pop up in Better Call Saul?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if it was like a new hire or something, so I just had to. I was just curious. Okay, Todd has seen all the way through Better Call Saul, and Todd is a very avid listener of the sideshow, so he had always, yeah. Adam, who's your minor character?
I think I can't remember this lady's popped up in the she manager Cynthia again. I probably said her before, but she had the cojones there. Anytime you can quote Poltergeist, I think that's a win for me. But yeah, goes up to hey, excuse me, Cynthia. They're fine. I'll take care of this. I think that was just a cool moment. Cynthia stepping up. Again, she gave Abbott. She repeated the instructions back to that machine that had to do with the cooldown cycle or whatever Gus was explaining when the cousins first walked in. Yeah, Cynthia. I think it's just a good manager. Obviously, the place is popping. Too a lot of really good customers there. Yeah, we know they don't have like any like a seafood restaurant in their town, but they have good chicken, damn good chicken. So got to go with Cynthia here.
Yeah, she's just absolutely doing her job, and you can tell that she's trying to be the best boss she can in front of her boss. And little does she know how close she is to like getting killed doing that.
Cynthia, go check the other thing.
Okay, all right. What machine was Gus training her on?
That is true.
Like my wife and I were trying to figure this out because he's like training her on a machine, and we're like, but she's the manager. Wouldn't she know how to work a machine that's been in there? Unless like it's like a new thing. It's like, hey, we're doing smoothies now. And you got to learn how to work the thing. And
because it's on the deep fryer because I think they're in the front of the store.
Yeah.
And it begs the question, is Gus a micromanager? Because he walks in and says, put this on table 33. Like, yeah, just walked in the door. You didn't say hello or anything. Just put this on table 33. And you told your manager to do that.
Yeah. I think that's a fair point. He is definitely a micromanager of that store.
Well, yeah, all of them. He has how many locations does he have? And he probably does that at all of them.
Yeah.
Good point. My minor character is Badger. Because whenever Badger shows up and River dances and my brain is boiled in anthrax and it's just...
Why didn't you come up with a water-powered car? You'd be rolling in it.
Are you afraid of the Arabs? Oh, God. Badger's good. He definitely was missed last episode, man. Like that, it was... but it makes sense why he's not there. But still, it's sad that
I'm surprised he didn't pick up Skinny Pete after he did the meth and did another helicopter, like he did with Jesse in the RV earlier. That would have been great. All right, the Cowhouse dumbest thing said of the episode.
Let me flip over my tablet because I have a whole page.
Oh, he's got a whole page. All right. Well, I'm gonna go first because I've got one that's kind of a low key one that I wanted to say. When Walt calls Saul, he's like, Hank knows about the RV. He goes, well, get rid of it. He's like, how? I mean, it's huge. I mean, it's RV size.
Yeah, great. Yeah.
Well, that scene is almost just like bad writing overall because he's like, "What? I'm not David Copperfield," and then
did you not plan for this contingency? No.
Like, what am I? The RV disposal people?
Yeah, am I the RV disposal people? Yeah.
I just love that. Did you plan for this contingency? No. Well, next time, do.
Even the Enterprise had a self-destruct button.
It's just there's so many that exchange. It's another one that feels like, all right, this is like one of the most intense moments where we're going slapstick humor here. It's just brilliant. It's brilliant. All right, Todd, what did you have? And then we'll let Adam read his list.
Well, let's see if you haven't said any of them. Yeah.
Well, one of them was the thing I opened with, which is, are you out of your mind? Why is this thing out in the open? Because they didn't know what you know. Like, why is he like chastising them for like just working on the RV, like fixing it?
It's gonna oil change.
And the other one, if you're going for like true spirit of what this category is, which is like making Walt like just baffled, it's when Jesse spits out bitch at the end of this is my domicile and I will not be disturbed. Bitch. And then Walt's just like, what?
He kind of does the same look when they sees the Funyun bag. So he's like,
just the fact that Funyuns are still in the RV. I think
unopened,
that might be the dumbest thing said.
It's just the thought of Jesse just baffles him. He's just like, this was my partner.
I was drinking wine a few hours ago with my new partner.
Yeah. I think we've both misquoted it actually so far. This is my own private domicile, will not be harassed, I think is what it is, not disturbed.
Oh, yeah.
But I've always thought it was going to be disturbed, but it was harassed. I'm pretty sure. I was thinking about that later. I'm like, I said it wrong, and then you repeated what I said. So, anyways, Adam, dumbest thing said.
My unhappiness, my completely out of the clear blue sky unhappiness. What? Come on, just get to the point, Skylar. That's why you're dumb. Anyway, if it was any bigger, it would be a Jolly Rancher, which is another. That's a
great one.
I'm bored of the dance, river dance. Dude, stop scuffing my floors, bro, or whatever. The brain boiled in anthrax. That was great. Oh, and do everything. Do the whole works. The oil change, the brake lights. They get you in the brake lights, and
get
also
the buzzer.
The buzzer. Heat and ignition. It buzzes. Have him add the buzzer.
Have him put one in.
The RV size. What is this? Again, I cannot give credit to the grind.
The coffee. The coffee.
Oh yeah, that's just a good line. That's a good line of dialogue. That's just a good line. Oh yeah, that was going to be my banner here. But then he said, "Yes, I'm a nerd." I was like, "That's even better." So that's why I wrote those down.
And that delivery is perfect. Yes, I am a nerd.
Yes, I am a nerd.
Yeah. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. All right. Any problems, any flaws you saw, or any great outdated moments?
I think the only one I really saw is, aren't junkyards usually like closed off to the public? How did like 3 people get in there without like having any like protest? Usually they're like are things called dogs that usually guard them, fences. I've saw Stand By Me. There was no way those kids were getting that junkyard. Like they're usually closed off, right?
Well, and we've all seen the flashback scene in The Sandlot. Forever. That's about a junkyard and the mean old dog ate 3 kids alive.
There's that.
It's a good call. I just love the fact that everybody's got the flip phone still. Like I miss the flip phone and how and like if you need to dispose of a flip phone, you just can like break it in half the other way and it's done. It's brilliant. Yeah. It's great stuff.
I had that written down too. It's just breaking the flip phone is I mean, what are you gonna do now? Like take out the SIM card? It's definitely not as ceremonious, but like also but breaking the phone is just like so simple. It's just like, okay, this phone needs to go away. Boom, done. Yeah, it's almost like borderline MVP candidate of the episode.
Well, there's no greater flex than just snapping a flip phone shut to hang up either. Like that's like one of the coolest things. Like I had flip phones. One of the coolest things was being able to just go and it was off. It's like it was such a satisfying moment of just being able.
I think I make that scene episode better is if like Saul couldn't break the flip phone and hands it to his assistant and she breaks it. I think that would be hilarious. He's like, that's so uncool.
You need to pay me more. Can you go break this for me?
Yeah, there you go. Break this for me. It's good. I think also too, I praise the shot of being under stuff with the bathtub sequence when everything's like getting thrown into the bathtub and you can see like the underground stuff. You can see through stuff. They went too far here. You see through a calculator like that. He was
I just saw tabletop
calculator. I was like, now we're pushing it too far. Now we're just making everything invisible, like see through. It's still effective and it's still cool. But I was like, okay, that seemed weird.
I mean, I just thought it was a really cool calculator. I don't know.
Well, maybe it was a cool calculator. I don't know. All right.
Okay, the midlife crisis moment. Let's go to Todd first.
Well, I mean, one of them is definitely when he says stop marking up my floor, dumbass, because like he's on meth, he's flipping out, and he's dancing, and all you could think about is like your floor. It's like, I'm gonna have to clean that later. I mean, I can't think of something that would make me more upset also than
he can't use and he can't do it.
Floor, damn it.
He can cook and he can watch, so he's gonna critique how you do it. Okay.
Exactly. Adam.
All I know is that I don't know. Maybe I'm in my midlife, but all I could think about is that I wanted a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. After I saw that, I was like, "Man, is it just enough peanut butter? That's just enough." That the ratio between jelly and peanut butter was pretty dang good.
And not the burger and fries, like that. Like it was one. I forget what I always want to quote it, but I can't remember what I'm quoting. When putting the fries in his mouth, like, oh, I can hear you getting fatter. Oh, Tommy Boy,
Oh,
yeah. That's kind of what I felt watching him shove another handful of fries down his gullet.
Yeah. It's like, man, because for fast food also, it's like I don't go out and eat a whole lot, but it's like it just messes up my stomach if when I do. So like, it's like okay, got to prepare pregame to going out to eat.
Yeah, seriously.
But a peanut butter and jelly is good. But then the other one too is like the flex of buying a mobile home. Just like, yeah, I'll just keep everything as is. Just keep it. I think this whole thing works out. This is the mobile home. This is the model home. Sorry. I was like, yeah, I know. I'll just take everything. And it's pretty good. He's already got his furniture set up. His nice painting. Just had to go buy the essentials like peanut butter and jelly and bread.
Another one I had was Walt driving around once again for the second straight episode with a brand new windshield with the tape still on it. She was like, I mean, I know what that's like when you need to get a new windshield. It's like that tape is super annoying, but he's had to do that now twice in a row. So
yeah, he's a windshield guy. Yeah,
it's a responsibility thing.
The one I went with is trying to create a debate out of nothing. This goes to old Joe walking up on Hank at the RV. Like, how do you know how long this has been here? How do you know it runs? This is a domicile. And just like pulling stuff out of his ass just so he could create this debate and stall and try to make it work. And then it's like, how'd you know the bullet holes were there before you removed the tape? Good point. We got another point here.
I don't see that holding up in the court of law.
Yeah. You can tell old Joe's just like, I'm having fun now. What else can I pull out here that he's doing wrong? I love moments like that. Just being the devil's advocate, like, ooh, I can poke a hole in that. I found a hole in that. It's
how much money did they pay him? Because he counted out 100. Was that 100 hundreds? It had to have been, right? I assume it had to have been 10 grand, right?
Oh, 10, yeah.
Because he counted out to 100. I assume this had to be $100 bills. There's no way he paid him $100 to dispose of that thing. That was way too hot.
Yeah. That's a good point. I can see that.
Solid point.
I was wondering the same thing. LVP. I already said the apartment realtor. I also want to shout out Riverdance as an LVP.
You ever been to a good play?
Just for existing.
You're
not a big Riverdance fan, huh?
Michael Flatley, Lord of the Dance. I don't know. I've never really gotten into it at all, but it's Adam, what's your LVP?
Well, I think it's Jesse, really, because it's since. Well, no, take that back. Rewind that. It's bad communication. There had to be some way you could communicate to Jesse not to freaking leave the house, that he's being watched. If he didn't leave the house, the whole situation at the very end wouldn't have happened. But also, Walt not figuring out a way to communicate, even just saying something to Badger. Just say, hey, make sure Jesse doesn't leave. Or don't tell Jesse.
Well, he said the DEA is looking for this RV. I think that he probably and Badgers is too dumb to realize.
Okay. So,
however, I love the Walt pulls up and Walt's like, "Who the hell are you?" And Badger goes, "He's Heisenberg."
He's still afraid of him. Was it so? Even if they had bugged Jesse's phone, does that mean they bugged? Could they see his text too? Like at that time, I kind of doubt it, right? Like but Walt never texts really, except when he gets Poyo's text.
they never actually bugged the phone, because then Badger calls and says, Walt just pulled up and took the RV away, and he's going to go destroy it because he thinks the DEA is onto you. And
but it wouldn't have been I don't think Hank would have got that approved to bug him, because he's been acting weird for weeks.
True, he's kind of going rogue on a lot of this stuff, so that's a good point. All right, Todd, did you give LVP?
I would just say the LVP is all like major award organizations who never nominated Dean Norris. Because, I mean, this is one of his great episodes. He is so good on this show, and he never got his due. He never got a single Emmy nomination, Golden Globe, or anything. So, and especially his breakdown at the end is, I mean, he is like he is amazing in this episode.
That's a good call. That is a good call.
Tune in next week. We'll be doing our Almost Sideways TV Awards show. I know.
All right, MVP of the episode, Adam.
That's old guy Joe. He gave up the distraction. He started a friendly debate. It makes me want to know if he watches like court TV and just knows like things they're looking for. And who would be? Is he a Judge Judy guy? Is he a Judge Alex? Judge Joe Brown? Like who's his guy? His go-to judge show?
Because he watches them. That's where he got all his stuff.
Yeah, because there's no way he went to law school. But oh, man, who knows?
Maybe he's a Rain Man fan. So yeah. People's Court and Judge Wapner.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Hank even calls him counselor because he came up so official.
Yeah. All right, Todd, MVP.
I mean, it's Saul, right? I mean, he's always got a plan. He's always got the answer, and he's got the backup plan to the backup plan, which is Francesca. So, I mean, Saul. Without Saul, the show would be over in this episode.
I'm gonna one up that, and I'm gonna say the MVP is someone we haven't even mentioned yet. The MVP of this episode is Marie, because if it's not for Marie, like Marie is the one that tells Hank, "Hey, Walt knows this guy. Maybe he knows that there's an RV and where it is." And then Marie also is. I mean. But she calls him up when he's at the hospital trying to find her, and she's the whole way this whole ends. I mean, like Marie has been like a longtime favorite in the LVP section. Marie is the MVP of this episode.
She got the ball rolling for sure.
Yeah. She got the ball rolling. But like this whole it's over unless Marie tells Hank to ask Walt. Like that's, the whole thing's over unless it's that. So, or as Zach would say, hold on, I'm finding it.
Oh, the gig is up.
Exactly.
Well, Zach does make an appearance.
We're gonna get Zach on this thing eventually. I think he said he claimed an episode in season 5. So all right, well, we're going to hear from Adam what he thinks is going to happen next. But first, let's update us. The Walter White body count is at 2 drug dealers, 1 car, 1 custodian's career, 1 Tuco hideout, 1 lock, 1 uneaten burrito, 1 paper towel holder, 1 house full of rot, 1 back door to Jesse's house, 1 love of Jesse's life, a few burned $100 bills, a pepperoni pizza, a career in education, and 1 meth-making RV.
A domicile.
Private domicile. And the Jesse ass kicked count remains holding fast at 7.
Okay.
So, Adam.
That's my favorite part of the whole show, by the way. It's just him revealing those things. Even when it don't change, I'm like, oh, something's going to happen new. What's he going to throw in there?
House full of rot. I guess say that every episode.
That's the best way to say it, dude.
We got rot.
We didn't destroy the house. He destroyed the rot. So
yeah, well, yeah, but he got rid of the rot. All right, so should I change it?
So it's rot. The house is rot.
so it's now going to be 1 paper towel holder, rot.
There we go. Heck yeah.
All right. I love it. Okay, Adam, what's going to happen next?
Obviously, we're gonna have to. They can't just introduce a new character like that with Gail. So I think there's gonna be some more cooking with Walt and Gail. So it could be like a cooking show. Cooking
I was
with
going to
Walt
say
and
that
Gail.
sounds like an HGTV or Food
Yeah.
Network. Cooking with Walt
And first,
Gail.
we put it in the deep freezer where we let it cool, and we bring out our other thing, and we let it cool at
Now,
the
Walt,
temperature.
can you explain why you do this part of the process?
Yeah.
It's like,
tannins. No, that's different. It's the coffee thing. Tannins. That was I kind of chuckled when he said tannins.
Freaking tannins.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Obviously, I think there's gonna be some cooking with Gail and Gail because we have to get introduced that character, and obviously you said he's a good character, so I'm gonna pay more attention to his character. I'm gonna hopefully get invested in him a little bit more too. He's just so new to the show. It's kind of caught off guard how much screen time he had. So we're gonna see that. Obviously, we're gonna see Hank go into more of a. I think there's no. I think that Jesse beat up count has to finally break at some point, right? I think it's
been holding steady for a while.
He knows that Jesse was in that RV. He heard his voice. He was followed him there. He's going to blame Jesse for what happened. So I think there has to be a world where Hank and Jesse have some kind of confrontation. I think it's just kind of set up perfectly like that. So we're going to see his 8th black eye of this show so far, which is going to be cool. And I think there has to be some kind of trust building now with Jesse and Walt as well, because Walt was trying to save Jesse's ass, trying to get this thing out of there because of the Hank situation. So I want to. I hate when they're not on good terms. Like I want to see these guys work together. These are our boys. Like come on. So,
right,
got to do something like that. I don't know.
Todd, I know you always compliment me on how well I'm able to stay spoiler free on these things. But do you have any comments you wanna drop? Or last thoughts on this episode?
I mean, it only gets crazier from here. I'll just say that.
Hell yeah.
It's true. It's true.
Well, you're welcome back next week. No.
Now, you guys do a great job. This is one of my favorite parts of the week is when I see your episode drop. So,
yeah,
it is fun to be on though.
Yeah, there was the 1 week where I accidentally set it to drop at 8 p.m. instead of 8 a.m. And Todd texts and like, "Where the hell's my episode?"
Where's the episode? He's like, basically,
why don't I have my episode?
This is rot. Anytime, asshole. Yeah.
Someone get the kid a Happy Meal.
Someone get the kid a Happy Meal. Well, Todd, thank you for coming on. I'm sure you'll pop up maybe one more time this season. We'll get you on for another one.
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited when we do the final Breaking Bad segment way down the road. Of course, we got to do a Breaking Bad character draft. Like we got to do character draft. We had to figure out who's number 1 and who the 4th pick. We got to do it. Let's get March Matt. Yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
Well, Todd, you buried the lead. You didn't even talk about your biggest takeaway from last episode, which was Adam's rant. He went on, which dropped one of the characters down a few pegs.
I don't even remember what was it about.
What rant?
Gomi.
Oh yeah, yeah. Adam, you went on for a minute and a half about just pissed off that Gomi's name was Steve.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Why? You have all these great names and you choose Steve? why is Steve?
That was my best analysis of the entire show. Don't lie. You know it is. I don't bring much, okay? But Steve was disappointing.
Todd listened to it and immediately texted me. He's like, I did not expect Adam to go on a minute rant about his name being Steve. Because great. I had to. We record these a week ahead of time. I had to smuggle Todd the audio from our last episode so that he could be caught up for this. So this has been in the works. This has been in the works. And
well, you said surprise at the very end of the last episode. I've been thinking about this all week, and I wasn't disappointed.
All right, wrap us up, Adam.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Next week we will be back for Breaking Bad. Season 3, episode 7. Well, we will be what, Terry?
Oh,
Breakdown of Breaking Bad. Exactly. Thank you, Adam.
I was ready to
We will
end
be
it. I wasn't ready for that.
I'm here, folks.
We will be breaking it down. As always, thank you, Todd, for stopping by the breakdown.
That's why I'm here, folks.
I love not planning stuff in advance with you, Terry. Anyway, what do we do every episode? We
sit and spin.